Hi again, General Math students. We're going to continue with another cosine rule question. This one is an applied style question. So we've got a fishing dinghy which leaves a jetty and travels 3 kilometers on a bearing of 150 degrees true. Now we can tell that that must be in this spot over here. We're starting at this blue dot, traveling 3 kilometers. So 150 degrees true here. It's the only sort of spot that makes sense for this situation, and we can see that is in that 150 degree true direction. None of the other spots match that. So from there it travels a further 5 kilometers on a bearing of 222 degrees true. So that must be 222 there. And it ends up at this red dot. And we are asked to find the distance from that finishing point back to the blue dot. This one here. So you might be able to see at this stage that we've got 3 side lengths involved, and we want to find one of them. So you might be able to see that what we really want is this angle in here. Because if we get that, we've got 2 side lengths with an included angle, we can use the cosine rule. So you might want to pause the video right now and see if you can deduce what that black angle is. No fancy calculations or anything, we just use the information from the angles that are already there to see if we can calculate that angle. So go ahead and try that. Okay, I'll give it a go now. There's a few different ways to do this. The way I did it was I looked over here and saw that it was 150 round to this spot here, and the whole thing would be 180 right round from here right round to there. So this bit left over must be 30 degrees. Now looking for the N's and Z type shapes here, if we put one here, you can see if this is 30 degrees here, then we must also have 30 degrees here. Okay, now looking over here, we've got 222 all the way around to here. So this bit must be 42 degrees, just there, because 180 and 42 make up the 222. So then, to get this bit of angle here, the bigger angle in the middle of those two, well, we'd subtract the other two from 180 degrees because it's 180 all the way around there. So 180 take away 30 and 42, and that gives us 108 degrees in there. So now you might be able to pause the video and use the cosine rule to get that distance on the other side of the triangle. Okay, I'm going to have a go at it now. I'm going to go straight to the answer with the square root, or not straight to the answer, but straight to the square root sign rather. So when you get more experience with the cosine rule, you can go directly to this without all the other stuff in between. And rounding this answer to 1 decimal place, we get 6.6 kilometers. So if you're having trouble getting that number with your calculator, I'll show you the calculator screen with all the calculations for this video at the end of the video. Okay, that's good. Now, we've calculated that distance. The other part of this question is asking us for the bearing. So essentially they want to know, if you're at the red dot at the finish here, what direction are you looking at the blue dot, the starting point? So really what we're trying to do is find that angle here, so we know how far from north to look at from the red dot to the blue dot. Now that's not immediately obvious how we get that. It's going to take quite a few calculations. But you might want to pause the video and see if you can figure out how to get this bit of angle in here and hence deduce the bearing. Then I'll show you what to do. Okay, so like I said, we can't get that immediately. We need to do a couple of calculations at least. So the first one is to say, well, what is this angle at this part of the triangle? Right. Now I'm going to use cosine rule to do this. You may have used the sine rule, and that's fine. Your answer will probably come out slightly different to mine, but it may round to the same number. But either way, you can use sine rule or cosine rule in this situation. I'm going to employ the cosine rule, and this is what we would have. So given that this now is 6.6, okay, so using the information there to get this angle in the triangle. And we should get that that angle there is 25 degrees 31 minutes. Now, that's not going to tell us the bearing yet. But now that we know this is 25.31, maybe you could pause the video and see now whether you can figure out what is this angle in here from north. What is that? Can you find it using some of the other information that's there? Okay, so we're going to use some of the other information that's there. And once again, those N's and Z's, in this case a backward N type shape. Now, we can see that if this is 42 in here, this must be 42 from here to here. Can you see that? So the key here, or the way to do this, to get that bit of green angle, well, it's the difference between 42 degrees and 25 degrees 31 minutes. So let's do it. So that bit of green angle is the difference between those two. 42 take 25 degrees 31 minutes. So that gives us 16 degrees 29 minutes. So now that we know the angle from north, it's pretty manageable to write this down as a true bearing and even a reduced bearing. Maybe you want to stop and see if you can write those bearings down. Okay, so the true bearing is 16 degrees 29 minutes true. As a reduced bearing, north, 16 degrees 29 minutes true. Oops, not true. 29 minutes east. Or we could start at east and it would be 73 degrees 31 minutes towards north. Probably less likely you go with the last one, but just in case you did. Okay, here are the calculations for that video. So you can go through those and see how you went. So yes, once again, look at the description for the video to see which questions you should try for applied cosine rule questions.